So 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go for the start of leg 4. We are on board with Johan Rishom of Patrick Arkea approaching this line. The team's now beginning their final run in. The start line is off on the right-hand side. You can see the white race control boat, but the start line is actually between the two yellow marks. And at the moment, there's a little bit of a difference between how close or indeed how cautious people are approaching this line. At the moment, Team Milizia to windward, closest to the camera. Canada Ocean Racing, they are a long way back right now. They need to be sort of pushing themselves forward. Just not sure they're going to find much room in that line. Team Amala, Team Holcim PRB, Patrick Arkea, they look nicely set up for a clean start. Coming into the line, the last few seconds, it's light winds here, 1 minute 30, and Milizia says too close, putting the bow down. Alagrande Mappe, they have got their big head sail unfurled and ready, along with Milizia as well, but this is all about judging that final last meter. So far in the Ocean Race Europe, we have seen some very cautious starts, but the teams surely know now that if you want to get the points, if you want to close down to Paul Meyer and Biotherm, you have to start pushing these lines. You have to start taking risks. That is what Milizia is doing here. They will actually be very pleased that there's a little bit of space underneath them. For a minute there, Abby, I thought they were going to get held out.
Yeah, this was bringing back memories of the start. I think it was out of Kiel last time where I was on Holcim and getting pushed up by Milizia. But yeah, I mean, this is going to get really interesting here. We're 38 seconds out from the start. Holcim's got some good boat speed, but boat speed is going to be key here, really just getting the boats moving.
Leg 4 about to be underway in Nice, and the boats all winding themselves up. Somehow the pack of 7 has shuffled themselves so that each team pretty much has a bit of a space on the line. Team Amala, the only one losing out, maybe opting to start on the opposite tack and early breaking free, heading to the south. Right at the far end, Team Holcim PRB very close to the line with Patrick Arkea right on their stern. Biotherm in clear to windward. They will be happy about the space they get there as the gun fires and the boats cross the line. Milizia, Team Holcim PRB, Patrick Arkea, Canada Ocean Racing. I mean, there is a lot of teams here who have hit that line nicely with what appears to be good space for now.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great start. That's probably one of the best we've seen so far. And Biotherm, who were looking a little bit slow to get out the blocks, have actually started extremely well there. Windward boat, which means they've got clear air and they've got the option to tack up, without bumping into any of the other fleet. So a great positioning by Biotherm. So no surprise there. It's going to be interesting here who's going to be the first boat to tack out and what happens now over the next few minutes.
Well, Team Holcim PRB at the moment looking quite nice to the right-hand side, but furthest away. The trouble for Nico Lundgren and the rest of the crew on board Team Holcim PRB is that first tack that they need to make. They will be crossing the fleet without right-of-way. I would say Milizia at the moment look like they're having a little bit of a charge, and if the boats start coming together, the boats coming in from the right will have right of way. So that is why we can see Nico Lundgren looking over his shoulder, trying to judge how much that space is opening up. And I think he's going to be facing that challenge of, does he put the bow down, go for speed, or does he go higher and try and squeeze the boats out? At the moment, it's looking good. He's opening himself up some room. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's obviously a hard crossover between trying to keep that height, keep your lane, but knowing you've got to keep the boat going fast. And this is going to be that balance, and particularly for Holcim, who are trying to climb up on the rest of the fleet and put themselves in a better position so that they are clear to tack away whenever they want to, rather than having to wait for the rest of the fleet to tack away to open up a lane for them.
On board with Team Amala, this was the boat that started deliberately, tactically, underneath the rest, and the first to break to the south. Now, we know that the whole field are going to have to put some tacks in, some extra manoeuvres to get to that first headland. We know that they're going to need to do what Amala's doing and head to the south. The question is just, when do you do it? Team Amala, with Conrad Coleman on the helm, elected to take it early. The rest of the fleet, we will see. But there seems to be, in the middle, just to the leeward, just behind Team Milizia. Alagrande Mappe starting to suffer on the bad air that is coming through from Paprikakea. Biotherm, I mean, if we wanted the teams to start putting some pressure on Biotherm got, I would say, arguably the easiest start. Certainly got the most amount of space.
Yeah, certainly in terms of their time to distance to the line, and they've positioned themselves at that top end, which is the preferential end to be in this situation. I mean, they've nailed it effectively. I wonder whether there's more pressure offshore, and maybe that was a calculated call by Amala to start out on port and go into better pressure. So, and I wonder whether now, as they start to close in on the shore, whether we'll start to see the pressure decrease a bit and the more of a bunch up as we get to that headland.
It's strange to me. It almost looks like there is something pulling them in close to the shore, because I don't fully understand why Alagrande Mappe hasn't tacked off and come through. We saw on the arrivals into Nice, and you'll be able to explain this as somebody who was actually on board the boats during the arrivals, but we saw this corner being a little bit light, being a bit fraught in terms of the amount of wind you could get there. And surely for Alagrande Mappe, you know you've lost the lane. It's time to go. Other teams, Team Holcim PRB, they're fighting on. In fact, they've got their bow clear. But do you think there'll be alarm bells ringing in their head the more they sail into the land this side?
Yeah, I think the weather has been so localised, especially we saw that on that last leg with the boats being relatively close together and yet being in very different weather patterns. And even time of day has a huge effect on the breeze coming off the land as the land heats up and we see the sea breeze filling in. So I think we can actually see Mappe have tacked off, if that's them, in the background. So they were obviously listening to you now, and they've taken on your call. But I think the thing to note is you could be sitting here saying tack, tack, tack. You know, why they're not tacking? But everything takes so long. You know, just getting that foil out, making sure that you're clear of the boat, because you know that they tack quite slowly. There's a lot of preparation to do, and this is not like you're short-handed, you know, you're round the cans racing. You have to think that everything takes time, and I know that could be quite frustrating when you're sat here in your armchair shouting at them.
Well, I mean, certainly I've never lost a race from a commentary box. It's always much easier on this side of the microphone. But there we go, 7 teams off the line starting to fight their way to this first scoring gate and their way to Genova. 2 points available at the bonus gate and 7 points for the winner of leg 4. Let's see how this develops in the Ocean Race 2025.